Hello and welcome to the Daily Conspiracy Podcast. We don't take days off because reptilians don't take days off. Before we get into the show, because we kind of ham-fistedly do this, I want to try and do it fucking more on point, so we do it every time now.
You need to fist on point.
You need to fucking like the podcast and whatever you're doing it on. You need to leave us the 5-star reviews. We are on our continuous march towards 2,000. We are not even considering 1,500 a benchmark now. The next benchmark is 2,000. So the more reviews that get on that, the closer we can get to 2,000 reviews, which would be splendid. We have a Patreon out there. You get every podcast we do during the week, which is 5 podcasts a week, 20 podcasts a month. And we will give you all the video that we record when we do these shows, so you'll be able to watch. You'll be able to watch the clips.
You get a private link.
You get a private link to the video. You get the integration with Patreon and podcast apps, so you can listen ad-free if you just listen. And also, there will be a special monthly live stream just for patrons to chime in with us. So while we're doing the show, we can talk to people in the chat. It's going to be great fun. I know there's already some of you guys which are excited about it. There's patrons there that I know are going to tune in. This Saturday, it will be 8 o'clock UK time. I believe that is 3 Eastern.
4? Is it 4?
Check it out for yourselves, guys. I live in the UK. You work Narnia time out for me. But yeah, we will put a link on our socials anyway.
You'll see it on the Patreon if you become a patron, and you'll see the link there. And also, for anybody wondering, what is it going to be? Just like a shitty link towards you can watch the actual video, our normal recorded podcast within Patreon. But the link is there for YouTube, so you can actually watch it on your YouTube app. So if you want to watch any television, you can watch any television.
Yeah, you can. It also means you can
put that in your bottom.
It also means you can comment on the episodes as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, like the chat will be there for you guys to chime in with us on Saturday. Really looking forward to it. It's going to be fucking ace. We also have merch that you can go and buy. The merch you can go buy at Teespring by looking for the Daily Conspiracy Podcast. It's really nice. I like it. I like it lots and lots and lots. Especially the jumper. The black jumper looks really good.
Oh yeah, I like the black jumper. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's got rid of all that sort of stuff.
Well done
for the time being. Shilling done.
Make us
3 minutes. Yeah.
Well, make me one. Hopefully, me and Dave die or something.
What? That doesn't seem nice.
Well, it's just after the years of torment, I think when we get a big break, just you both, I don't know, carbon monoxide poisoning in the car or something. I don't know. But
You're
something.
Nothing without us, Ollie.
No, but I'll be a millionaire.
No,
I'll retire.
Won't last. Because you know what will happen?
I'll replace you with women.
It will all be put in a crypto account, and I will jumble the letters up.
Oh fuck! Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got a couple of things for us today. First of all, I just want to play this clip because it's fucking wild. I don't know what's going on here. And at first I thought it was AI. Now I don't think it's AI. So there's terrible music on it. It's somewhere in, let's say, a foreign country. And it's just a woman walking down the road with a fucking head on fire.
It's Dead Cells. If you've ever played that game.
No.
Is it fire or has she just got really...
It was fire.
I mean,
Homeboy understands what he's doing. He's trying to put the
what a
bitch
lovely
out.
bloke.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not being funny. If somebody's walking quite calmly on fire,
I'm leaving
who
them
am I
to
to
it.
put them out?
Yeah. I like the way she's brushing it back like it's hair. Yeah, so no idea what's going on there. Don't care to even look into it. Just thought it was mental.
The dog's quite brave, I have to say. There's a little, for the listeners, there was a
Maybe
little
it's
dog
really
that
cold.
Yeah.
It's like, I've got to take the dog for the walk. How am I going to keep warm? I'll just set fire to my head.
I'm sure there's something that they do in. I've seen this in like barbers, hairdressers, whatever you want to call them, where they
Turkish barbers do it a lot. Turkish
they burn
barbers
you,
set fire to things, and they do. Turkish barbers do all sorts of wild things to people.
So I go to a Turkish barber's. Fucking phenomenal hairdresser. These guys have been there for ages. They are unbelievable.
Why's your hair
skill?
Shit?
Oh, because I get it done like once a fucking blue moon, and then just, I'll style it before I go out for a drink, which is not often these days.
Right. Okay. I'm just saying, like, if you're looking for sponsorship from these guys, I'm not sure you're like.
Oh, I don't think they've got money to sponsor.
No. Oh, that's a shame.
Definitely not to sponsor. No.
You just reminded me. Actually, there was something I meant to do for the podcast today, and I completely forgot about it. Carry on.
Okay. Is it private?
It really doesn't. Really
boring.
It really doesn't matter. It's just you just jogged my memory.
Okay, you're welcome.
And that was kind of. Are you like this? Like sometimes I'll tell people things because I don't. I'll tell people to remind me, but in telling people to remind me, I remember.
Yes. Yeah, I think so. I think I know what you mean. Yeah.
So
but back to the crazy woman on fire. This whatever happened to? I'm going to really fuck this word up. Internal combustion.
Spontaneous combustion.
No, it's because I'm sure it was. Is it spontaneous combustion?
Spontaneous human combustion.
Yeah, that used to be a thing, and now it's like a myth.
90s, like the spontaneous human combustion was a big fucking conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy, yeah. People just like all of a sudden, next minute you're sitting down with your missus eating some popcorn. Next minute, a couple of seconds later, she's on fire, and not in a good way.
I heard a story the other day, and I do have to be reasonably careful in the details here. But somebody was found in a house with 90% burns on them, not in a good way. And although
is there any case of 90% burns in a good way?
I mean, I would guess not. I mean, I suppose the only, like, literally, you've got there's a 10% bright side, isn't there? In 90% burns, could be worse, could be 100.
Your dick's not burnt. There you go.
Your dick's probably burnt. It's probably burnt. But when they were trying to work out, because this guy was found alive, and they put it down to that maybe something happened with his car, maybe he got petrol on himself and went home. Like there's a load of maybes and ifs and buts and stuff like that. But and don't get me wrong, the people involved in this story haven't said this, but Lee's in the corner going, that sounds very much like spontaneous fucking human combustion. And obviously I didn't say that, but it was the first thing that popped to my mind. Is like fucking finding somebody with fucking 90% burns on them, no real idea how it's happened. Like that feels like a fade to black, and Mulder and Scully are all of a sudden knocking on a door somewhere.
I was just about to mention X-Files, yeah.
Well, you can now. I've just mentioned them.
Well, you mentioned it. Something's just walked in the...
Is it?
Yeah, you can get that, mate. Go on. I'll let you. Just, I've got a little... a trooper is in the house.
Yeah, Ollie keeps children. Not his.
Go on. And shut the door behind you, little man. I'll tell you the story, what happened. So... Pull it, keep going. I'll do,
Throw something at him.
So the other morning he cheeked my wife off. So he answered back, and then he did it. He said she said, "Listen, if you do that again, I'll remove all the toys from your room when you get home." Because he's going through a little stage where he's answering back a lot, and he answered back. So the next thing, if you look around this room, I mean, I've got Teenage Bloody Mutant Ninja Turtles coming out of my fucking ass.
I have
They're everywhere.
Exact toy in my living room.
Yeah, but they're all round the podcast room, everywhere. And lo and behold, when he came home from school and he went up to his room that was completely empty, he was happy as a pig in shit.
Ha ha! Unlucky.
That his room was roomy. He wasn't even pissed off. So now what he's just done, he's come upstairs to get one of his Grinch toy, his Grinch teddy bear.
Come around here with your fucking big balls. I'll just fucking no-sell you.
Mate, my wife's not got big balls.
I mean, she seems to be the only one in your house with them.
Anymore.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. Just like, oh yeah, he's gonna be so pissed off with this. Walk in. Oh, it's really nice, spacious. Like it.
Yeah, she sent me a voicemail at work. I went, "You'll never guess what this little shit has just said to me."
He's there thinking, yeah, it's probably about time I started wanking anyway. This feels like a good place to be.
Oh dear me. Yeah. Hey, nice and spacious. Anyway, what you got? I know we've got some fucking. Have we got some Ross Coulthard magic?
No, that's second. I want to play this first. I've got a clip from GB News. This is like, I find this pretty fucking cool. Well, kind of.
I wonder if I've seen this actually.
I should say, because bearing in mind, I'm not a particularly big fan of GB News. I'm not a particularly big fan of like mainstream news, be it left or right wing in the UK anyway. But for our American listeners, GB News is kind of like our Fox News. But it's weird because we don't. So I suppose Sky News is kind of like our CNN, and the BBC is kind of like what communist China have as media. Mm-hmm. But this article about on GB News is essentially like, this is mainstream news. They're talking about the new pandemic treaty. It sounds like fucking shit we'd be saying now. So
I do listen to a bit of GB News. It's kind of a guilty pleasure because I kind of like,
because you're a massive right wing racist.
But I also listen to, which is the other one that's completely on the opposite with that fucking horrible man.
Oh, LBC.
Yeah, I really can't stand that news channel. But I'm a glutton for punishment. Let's go.
I'm still of the opinion that the left-wing content on LBC is because LBC mean it, and the right-wing content on LBC is just to annoy left-wingers. I'm convinced that's what it is. Like, I'm probably being unfair. It has been pointed out to me a couple of times where I've found some slightly interesting stuff on LBC now and again. But anyway, here's this clip talking about the new World Health Organization and their pandemic treaty.
Thank you, Sam, and good evening to you at home. Happy Easter to you and your family. Christ has risen. Hallelujah. I hope you've had an enjoyable bank holiday weekend. But one resurrection we don't want this year is the revival of the World Health Organization. Remember them? The United States has already pulled out of the WHO just weeks after Donald Trump took office in January, and that came after the absolute clown show of COVID was exposed for the world to see. It was only this week that the White House launched a new website revealing how the lab leak theory, conspiracy theory, as they dubbed it at the time, was actually the truth. Now, though, the race is on for us in the UK to do something pretty similar and opt out of the organisation's draconian new international health regulations, or IHR as they're known, that would see pandemic-style lockdown powers handed over to the unelected, unnamed globalists at the WHO. Our government needs to pull out by July the 14th, or else surrender our ability to coordinate national responses to future health scares. The regulations say WHO member states must support WHO-coordinated response activities amid pandemics, which, long story short, as far as I'm concerned, could mean anything. It could mean getting vaccinated with experimental gene therapies, or else lose your freedoms to work, travel and live. It could mean shoving face masks over children and destroying their education, or demanding people stand 6 feet apart for no scientific reason at all. And worse, it could mean towing the line of any particular globalist agenda, all in the name of a health emergency, including suppressing free speech, no matter how true or based in fact, that they rule dangerous to public health. Writing for the Daily Telegraph today, former Home Secretary Suella Braverman warns the regulations, quote, present the most serious threats to national sovereignty in a generation. She said, what the British public sees, what they intuit, is not just bureaucratic overreach, but a creeping usurpation of their democratic rights. They voted to leave the European Union precisely because they were tired of decisions being made by people they could not name and could not remove. The WHO, as it currently stands, is another iteration of the same problem. A WHO spokesman said the body, quote, does not have the right or ability to take any decision concerning health within a sovereign state, adding such authority will and always will remain with the countries themselves. But here's the key point. Ms Braverman's been joined in the letter by the likes of Conservative MPs Danny Kruger, Sir Ian Duncan-Smith, Esther McVeigh and Jack Rankin. Then there's Labour's Graham Stringer, the DUP's Sammy Wilson and the former Reform UK MP Rupert Lowe, alongside Tory peer and former chief Brexit negotiator Lord Frost. The US has already opted out of the IHRs by leaving the WHO completely, and it's no surprise to see why. Because, as Suella Braverman writes today, the World Health Organization has not merely lost its way, it's been captured. Politically, ideologically, financially, it dances to the tune of those who pay its piper, notably the Chinese Communist Party or massive donors such as Bill Gates, and increasingly a pharmaceutical industrial complex with little interest in transparency and even less in accountability. The race is on. Well, let's get the thoughts now of my panel.
Well, that just goes on to him speaking to people on the panel to the show. So
that's not concerning at all.
It is concerning, isn't it?
No, it's not concerning.
I find this interesting though, because
I find the take interesting from a news channel.
Yeah, I mean, like GB News have kind of. I never know what to think about GB News, to be perfectly honest. You know, it's even during the pandemic. What I will say is, as far as mainstream media goes, this is probably a bit of a deep cut, and it's probably only something that British listeners will get. But the Coast guy on GB News was like the only kind of based opinion that was on.
Who are GB News if you was to compare them to an American news channel?
I did at the beginning of that. It's Fox News.
Oh, you did. Yeah, you said that. Yeah.
He was the kind of based opinion on that, and to be perfectly honest, he was ahead of most things on this stuff. You know, even back if you look at US news, I don't think there was anybody really when you were like on mainstream news, on mainstream media, like the in general. There was very few people. Mark Stein was definitely one of them. That he was pretty harsh on the COVID stuff. I find it interesting that they're going into this now just as Klaus Schwab's stepping down. Today there was a statement, it was either today or yesterday, from Keir Starmer in the UK, talking about, is it St. George's Day soon?
St. George's Day today, mate.
Today, right, it was today then, where Keir Starmer said that Brits have to...
Happy St. George's Day, people.
Brits have to wrestle back the like the St. George's flag from people that don't have the best intentions for our country, is what Keir Starmer was saying today. Very like he's such a flip flopper with this stuff.
Oh,
you know, he knows what a woman is now. He didn't know what a woman was a while ago, but now he's remembered. Now British flags are okay again, and the English flag is okay again. I can't help think. See, I think Keir Starmer was a sociopath, possibly a psychopath.
Serial killer?
Maybe. And I don't think he has any empathy for people. I think he just has like goals that are set, and like what will benefit him, and push whatever is pushing his controllers forward. However, you know, we only remember a few weeks ago when we played the clip from Alex Jones talking about how the globalists had took a big hit. The World Economic Forum had took a big hit. He said that he'd been told that the UK wants to align itself as like some sort of like Anglo US alliance thing. And I don't think that's suddenly because Keir Starmer was a good guy. I just think he's a coward. That's the thing.
Yeah,
it's
I don't know who's the what's the lady called? Is it Kelly or something? Kelly, the leader of the Conservative Party. She called him. She told him today he's got no balls in the Houses of Parliament.
Oh yeah, I mean it's obvious. Like you can see when you look at that guy, he's a weak man.
A weak man. Yeah.
But I mean that's the thing though. Like weak men in positions of power can do great
fucking
damage.
Dangerous.
Yeah. However, like it's the good thing is if globalization, as in like this global like new world order, is on shaky ground, it's people like him which are going to jump ship first, because they're going to try and save themselves before the ship sinks. I wonder if that's what's happening. I think we'll have our answer with this World Health Organization thing, to be perfectly honest. Like if we enter into this deal which would give the World Health Organization sweeping powers over pandemics for us in the future, because it makes no sense. It makes more tactical sense as a country if I personally agree with the US pulling out of the World Health Organization. I think the UK should do it as well. But it makes tactical sense if we pretend that the World Health Organization isn't just an arm of Davos and these fucking globalist paymasters. It would make more sense to stay in the World Health Organization, and then you can just see like whatever the World Health Organization puts forward, you can then as a country decide whether those policies are right for your country. Whereas if you hand the power over to them, you don't get that choice anymore. The minute a pandemic is declared, those choices are made by the WEF.
Is the new guy that's taken over Klaus Schwab? Is he that? Is he Peter
Thiel? Is it?
Is it this guy? Because I find this fucking. I'm glad you brought this up. I wanted to bring this up last night. Is it this guy here?
Yes, it is. The guy with
Have you
the
seen
red
his fucking eye?
Yeah, he's the guy that doesn't look like a reptilian at all.
Look, they all get this. They all get this fucking eye thing.
Yeah, it's really, really strange. I see like Biden. He just looks like he's got a bloodshot eye, but that eye that Peter is it pronounced Thiel? Peter Thiel.
It's Peter Piper. Peter Pepper. It's Peter. That's his name there.
I can't read that from here.
It's Peter Brabak
Peter
Latmouth.
Who am I? Who's Peter Thiel then? Somebody help me because I've clearly got my fucking Peters mixed up. He was the guy that said ages ago that water isn't a human right and it should be treated as a commodity.
Have you seen underneath his eyes? Yeah, he did. He did say that. Have you seen underneath his eyes as well?
The white.
Yes, weird.
Yeah, he's a weird looking fucker. It's a weird looking dude. And like, if you were to turn around to me without me knowing any of this stuff, if you were to turn around to me and say, listen, there's like this fucking alien race. They wear fucking people costumes, and they've infiltrated all manner of like global elites and powerful politicians, all that stuff. And they have a headquarters at Davos. They are they call themselves the World Economic Forum, but realistically, that's like the head of the snake.
Basically that.
Yes, basically that. I go, that sounds like bullshit. Then you pull a picture of that guy out. I go, huh, okay. Give me more of your compelling evidence.
As well, you know, like people go, oh, you know what? Well, he may have been punched in the eye, so he may have fallen on the stairs. He'd have bruising on the side for a start.
Well, do you know,
they always have the red eye.
It's not just that, right? The amount of people, but the amount of celebrities that you get, which get the bruise, they get the black eye. Yeah, we've heard of the Black Eye Club, but Black Eye Club is fucking mental, right? All these people, all these celebrities at some point, and it's not just celebrities, it's politicians, it's fucking royals, all of them at some point seen outside with a big old fucking shiner on them. Now, people turn around and say, yeah, well, you can get a black eye. Right? How many people, right? How many people in the last 3 years, let's give it 3 years, Ollie, do you remember like walking into work with black eye?
I don't.
That travel in the same circles as well. So it'd be like your friend group. Everybody at some point has had a black eye. It's
a big bright red eye.
It's no, but I for this I just mean the bruising, just the normal black eye. It's fucking strange.
Also, I've seen old people when they've hurt their eye. They usually got an eye patch on to protect it.
They're pirates, Ollie.
I love pirates. Never fucked one, but I do like them. And they put an eye patch on though to protect. If they've got a good eye that's hurt, a hurty eyeball, they put an eye patch on to stop it getting infected more or anything like that. So I'm wondering if, hang about, I've got the red eye, fuck you, right? Look who I am. This is the sign to say...
I think that's exactly what it is. It's the same as the... If I can just pull this up for a second.
It's like fucking Terminator. It's like the box art for Terminator where you see Arnold Schwarzenegger with the one red eye. Maybe they were telling us something with Terminator and Skynet, you know? There's something with that one red eye.
Right, I'll just share this whole screen. Yeah, like so the red eye, yeah, that's the thing. This was more what I was talking about. The Black Eye Club. So you'll see here all these people, all these celebrities at some point being out, and it's not like they've just had like this black eye. They've it's been like a red carpet event. It's been like a social media post to show it. Famously, that picture with Tom Hanks when he looked really weird with like the pizza clock behind him, and he was saying he was safe with fucking Oprah Winfrey and whatnot. Famously, he had a black eye. Royals, fucking millionaires, actors, and they all go out. That's the thing. There's none of this hiding of things. They all fucking go out, like you say, like it's some sort of it's some sort of sign.
Has Trump
to show.
had it?
I haven't seen one of Trump. That doesn't mean there isn't one, but I haven't seen one.
That's the thing, though. You know, you're a celebrity, yeah? You've got a black eye. Someone's going to ask questions about the fucking black eye.
Yeah.
Just, you know what? I can't do that Photoshop today. Got a fucking black eye.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean,
Or I can't do that Photoshop. My eye is fucking glowing red.
If I was to go out at the weekend and somebody was to fucking socko me one and I had a big shiner, I'd probably look at myself in the mirror of fucking... I'm surprised I didn't get a black eye today. There has to be a point where you look at yourself in the mirror and you go, do you know what? I'm going to take a couple of days off for this. Gonna let the swelling go down. Gonna let some of the colouring go down. And that's just me with a normal fucking job.
Yeah.
You know?
But if you're in your 80s, 70s, 90s...
Yeah, I mean, even that, I will play fucking devil's advocate for that.
Avocado.
By saying, old people bruise easy. You know, you do see a lot of old people bump themselves.
They do, but they do climax easy as well.
I mean, well, I do when I'm giving them fucking black eyes. But
you do realise we're going to hell.
Oh, we're fucking...
I mean, we do this show pretending to be all godly, and we're fucked.
Ollie, I booked my ticket to hell when I accidentally put a whole pint of lager on a midget thinking it was a table.
I remember you telling me that on the plane.
Yeah. That was... I'm not coming back from that one. It doesn't matter what I did. I was only like fucking 22. It was a complete accident. I'm 6'2". What am I supposed to know? I don't look down there.
It's an easy mistake to make.
It is an easy mistake to make. Easy mistake. That's why they make excellent waiters. But yeah, I'm easily going to hell for that. But he was so angry, yet adorable. But
I don't know if I could have apologised with a straight face. I mean,
no, I was horrified. I was fucking horrified. And to see, the thing is, if it would have just been like all of a sudden I was surrounded by the fellowship, it wouldn't have been. It might have been funny, but he was with like fucking proper size humans, so it wasn't just like him running around and all his little mates and me feeling like Gulliver. No. It was him with some proper humans, and yeah, it was fucking weird. Anyway, the
eyeball.
The eyeball. I think there's something to it. I do. I always have done. But to drag it back in line with what we were saying about the World Health Organization, I have like this glimmer of hope at the minute where maybe it's on the rocks. The Pope dies. Klaus Schwab.
This is what Crazy Stu
down.
says. This is what Crazy Stu said to me the other day. He went, this is a sign that things are going to get... He said something to do with the financial... He says, because the Vatican controls all the finances for pretty much the world. And I'm like, really? I'm easily led. And yeah, he says this is the sign of the start of it all being fixed, essentially. So,
I hope so. Like, I mean, I do. I think there's...
He didn't elaborate much on how it's going to be fixed, though. So,
I wonder. Right, we see these. Maybe there's part of a cycle. Maybe there's a natural cycle. You know, I was saying the other day that it seems that there's been ancient civilizations of high technology.
mm-hmm.
Now, I don't believe you can have like what seems to be global civilizations in the past. And I know people will argue about that, but like I'm kind of by the Tartaria stuff. I think it was a global seafaring, technologically advanced civilization that seemed to live in harmony with a majority of the world. I'm not saying the whole world got on with themselves, but it felt more of a global. It seemed to be more of a global empire. That's what I think it was. But whether it was taken down by war or cataclysm, I don't know. And then even before the Tartaria stuff, I think whatever left the pyramids behind was a similar, like, technologically advanced age. And I don't think you get to that point without people being highly advanced as well. You know, we couldn't do, or you couldn't have, like, I mean, you know, you've got to stay within the lines here, because 1 foot either side out of the lines and you're either a fucking communist or a socialist when it comes to this stuff. But we couldn't have, like, the Star Trek future unless people really fucking started to get on board with each other and, like, move forward as a race of people rather than, like, individual country blocks of people fighting for resources.
Not happening in our lifetime, Lee.
I've no idea, Ollie. I've no idea how quickly this stuff can happen. To be perfectly honest, I'm not completely convinced either that there isn't cycles of consciousness. You know, we know how much, like, the like sun and moon, like, affect people. Like, we keep hearing of, like, this idea of a great awakening. Maybe we don't have a choice in the matter. Maybe it's part of this cycle. Maybe it's solar cycles. Maybe it's something fucking else. But there is, at some point in the cycle of humanity, in the cycle of whatever this fucking planet plane oblate spheroid that we live on, there's a natural ebb and flow of not just not just like natural weather formations and natural cataclysms, but the life itself.
The arc moment.
No, not necessarily the arc moment, but like there's a natural cycle of intelligence and violence, and we've been through the violent phase, or we're still going through the violent phase of humanity. It's probably bullshit.
Before we end up like Star Trek.
Before we end up like Star Trek, and then eventually the cycle starts all again, where there's a huge cataclysm, we get wiped back to zero, and then we're back as cavemen, and we have to go through this whole thing again.
Oh, fuck that.
On the bright side, I think we'll be long gone before that.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wanted to see. I just wanted to stroke a Grey's bald head before I die, you know?
Do you, though? Do you still think they're aliens?
If it was an alien, yeah, and not a demon, obviously, I'd like to stroke it thoroughly. You know, just feel the skin.
Well, that brings me nicely into something Ross Coulthard has been saying. I'm going to pull a video up here from our good friend at Vetted, Patrick. He's going to take us through like the Montauk project and the GATE program. If you like what you hear with Patrick, please go over and check out Vetted's YouTube channel. He's fucking ace. He's got 50,000 subscribers. This video alone's had 20,000 views on it. The guy fucking like kicks ass and takes names when it comes to he's been on our show quite a few times. Yeah,
well.
quite a load of times. Yeah, we've had we had a recent interview with him after he did a pretty cool podcast about something that was supposed to be like coming close to the earth. But yeah, he's a good guy. If you go and watch his videos, leave in the comments, tell him Daily Conspiracy Podcast sent yous.
And we miss you.
And we miss you. But yeah, let's let Patrick take us through this.
The GATE program, which stands for the Gifted and Talented Education Program, was implemented in various U.S. school districts since the 1960s, aimed to provide enriched education for intellectually advanced students, typically identified through high IQ scores or other assessments. Some speculation, primarily from online discussions and unverified claims on platforms like X, suggests that GATE may have been used as a covert operation by government agencies, such as the CIA or Pentagon, to identify and study children with extrasensory abilities, including telepathy, during the Cold War era from the 1970s to the 1990s. These claims point to programs like Project Stargate, which explored psychic phenomena like remote viewing for intelligence purposes, as potential evidence of a connection. For instance, posts on X and Reddit anecdotes describe GATE participants undergoing unusual tests, such as telepathy or ESP experiments in the 1970s and 1980s. However, no declassified documents or credible scientific evidence directly link GATE to telepathy research. Mainstream accounts describe GATE as an educational initiative, while the telepathy connection remains speculative, largely fueled by anecdotal reports and distrust in government programs.
Well, first of all, gifted children could be underachieving, and that's one of the big issues, is that many of us do not live up to our potential. And, we talk about the fact that children don't live up to their potential for a variety of reasons. It could be psychological, it could be physiological, but sometimes underachievement is really a consequence of poor curriculum. So that one of the things that we're talking about is we're trying to ameliorate the issue of underachievement by saying, here's curriculum that we know that is responsive to the needs, the interests, and abilities of gifted children. But there's another part of that, and that is there's a moral obligation for us to try to take every child's potential and look at what kinds of curricular experiences manifest that potential into performance.
So, is there something to GATE, right? Was this sort of this covert operation to find, weed out amongst the kids who's got these telepathic connections and just extrasensory connections, right? Because that is the idea. And yes, what I'm describing is something akin to the show Stranger Things, right? Where a character named 11 was secretly held in this sort of, underground base where she had all these abilities. I mean, you've seen the show, right? I mean, that's basically the idea, right? And Stranger Things is based on a real account, a real story, at least a real conspiracy, right? Called Montauk, which describes something similar. The Montauk Project is a conspiracy theory alleging secret government experiments at Camp Hero, a decommissioned Air Force base in Montauk, New York during the 1970s and 1980s. It claims the U.S. military conducted covert research involving time travel, mind control, psychic warfare, and interdimensional exploration, building on the earlier Philadelphia experiment. Key figures like Preston Nichols and Al Bielek, who claimed to be whistleblowers, described suppressed memories of their involvement in experiments manipulating space-time and contacting extraterrestrials. The theory gained traction through books like The Montauk Project, Experiments in Time from 1992, but lacks credible evidence and is dismissed by skeptics as fiction, possibly inspired by Cold War paranoia and sci-fi. No official records or physical proof support the claims, and the site is now a state park. The Netflix series Stranger Things, created by the Duffer Brothers, draws loose inspiration from the Montauk Project. Originally titled Montauk, the show shifted its setting to the fictional Hawkins, Indiana, but retained themes of secret government experiments. Set in the 1980s, it follows children encountering supernatural phenomena, including a girl, 11, with telekinetic powers, tied to a covert lab, the Hawkins National Laboratory, conducting experiments linked to the Upside Down, a parallel dimension. The Montauk Conspiracy's ideas of mind control and dimensional rifts echo in the show's narrative, blending 1980s nostalgia with sci-fi horror. The Duffer Brothers confirmed the Montauk Project as a creative spark, though Stranger Things fictionalizes and expands these ideas, focusing on character-driven storytelling rather than directly depicting the conspiracy. So, let's jump into this first clip of Ross Coulthart discussing the infamous GATE program.
What's really interesting is the CIA was investigating telepathy and psychic phenomena 50 years ago, and officially it was all axed, officially it was all stopped. But what I've discovered is the psionic program never stopped. They've been using people with telepathic skills for many, many decades. It never stopped.
I wanted to ask you about that, sir. So you believe that the Gifted and Talented program in some ways was like a cover or a recruiting ground for the psionics program?
It's not a belief. I know for a fact it was. I've now spoken to multiple people who are now adults who, as children, were diverted into the Gifted and Talented education program. They all recall being tested for psychic skills. So there are these things called Werner cards, where you have to try and guess what the shapes are on the cards. And all of them have related these tests being given to them. And some of them have told me how they were then taken into a facility that sounds like something out of Stranger Things.
Oh, wow.
Where they were literally put in a chair. They had a ECG cap on their heads, and they were taught how to use their brains to connect with a non-human consciousness. Now, I know this sounds like science fiction, and I would forgive anybody who's listening to this for going, oh my God, this reporter has gone completely crazy.
Guys, this is too nice of a sweater he's wearing to be a liar. Okay? It's too nice.
But I'll tell you what happened to me. So we were telling the story of the summoning. So
yeah.
It was a really cool event. I don't know if you guys have ever been to this place called Esalen, but
no, I've heard of it.
I got invited to this event that was organized by Alex Clokus, who's the guy who's funding Skywatcher. And Clokus knows a lot of billionaires, and billionaires have got all these drop-dead gorgeous girlfriends. And so I found myself as a 60-something guy walking around this place at Esalen, where all these supermodels are walking naked around these hot springs.
Were they summoned? They were summoned too, but it was cash.
all these beautiful young women are walking around buck naked, and I was far
That's one
too
way
shy
to get them
go
there, huh?
up in the bath. But that evening, after I'd been in a hot springs bath with some of these beautiful women, I was. They said to me, "Come and do the summoning," and so we're holding hands, lying on the ground, chanting, meditating. And then Jordan, who's the psionic that was doing the attempted connection, he says, I'm connected. And at the very moment that he said he was connected, it was like somebody flicked a light switch, and there were these two golden, slightly silvery orbs on the horizon. And there's this beautiful, I won't embarrass him, but a Chinese billionaire who lives in San Fran, and he's putting his hands up in the air and he's going, we love you, come close.
So what do you think? Is there...
Wrong mic. When you came back in the room, your mic's gone to the camera mic. You're not coming through your microphone. Oh, there we go. He's left me on his own. He left me on my own. That is fucking wild. And I'll tell you something about the Montage project. The Montage with Stranger Things, that was going to be called Montage. But I'm pretty sure that Dave was one of the first to tell, because I'm pretty sure he told Patrick that on the show. On the last show that we had, well, he's back now.
Sorry about that. Everything just kind of shit the bed and spat me back to base.
That's because they don't want us to talk about what we was talking about. I'm just saying, didn't Dave tell Patrick that it was called Montage? I'm pretty sure he did on the show.
Tell
Stranger Things. It was going to be called Montage.
No, I said that. It was supposed to be called Montauk.
Montauk, that's it.
And the CIA actually stepped in and like, no, not today.
Wild.
Yeah, so there's two things I find interesting about that. With the first reason I brought it up was like I wanted to bring it round to this, and you kind of gave me a really good segue to do it earlier, where you said about like we won't see change in our lifetime. Right, the amount of things that are starting to simmer and bubble to the surface that are like were considered fringe. Excuse me. Were considered fringe and conspiracy theory, but a few months ago, are now slowly being dribbled forward into the mainstream. Yeah. It's one of the reasons why I think the power structure collapse was inevitable, and why I genuinely believe that COVID was their last card to play. And when that failed, because the knock-on effect of COVID failing was like 9/11 on steroids. Like 9/11 woke a lot of people up, but like fucking COVID smashed the door down. Like the dam broke, and you can't fucking clog it up now, because you have. I mean, fair enough. There will be people that never admit that there was mistakes made during COVID. They will continue to post about being fully vaccinated every year. They will continue to talk about what N95 mask they prefer. But that's fine. That's mentally challenged people that are.
Yeah, I noticed when they've the government's just done the U-turn on the whole what a woman is. There's loads of all the activists that are going, oh no, we're not having this. Men should be allowed to go into female toilets. They've all got fucking face masks on.
Yeah, it's great. It's wild. Like there is definitely a correlation between. Like I'm not even willing to call them far left now. I think the far left and far right banners thrown around too much. Indoctrinated. We'll just say progressive. You know, that progressive ideology. There is a if conspiracy theorists, we're often told that conspiracy theorists lean right, and conspiracy theorists tend to believe more conspiracy theories. The progressive ideology is the exact same thing, because if you are a person that thinks that you should have like men going into fucking female only spaces, I'm fucking betting like a large chunk on that you absolutely vote Labour, or you vote left at any opportunity, and you vote as hard left as you can do. You're 100% fully vaccinated. You think fucking Donald Trump is a rapist. You like that. You believe those conspiracy theories,
and you've not made it this far into this podcast.
And you've definitely not made. If you have, fucking more power to you. You are now, even if you're angry, just because you listened to me, you're a better person than you were before you started listening. But the thing is, I've fucking completely lost my point.
Sorry.
the thing.
Montage.
The I forgot. I'm done. You fucking. I've managed with you fucking talking over me a couple of times, but you fucking derailed me this time, you motherfucker.
I only mentioned the face mask. You were talking about they've done me as well. Let's go back to montage.
Right. The sorry, I do get it now. Like the
there we go.
We were talking about the change and how things can change quickly. And what I was going to say is if only 10% of this stuff that's bubbling to the surface, just 10%, like because there's so fucking much, like that's coming up. If one of those things is real, it's like, well, it's the World Economic Forum, and there's a globalist agenda to enslave humanity. Right, well, that's a pretty fucking big deal. Or if it's not that, it's the fucking it's like space is fake and gay. There's something we're not being told about space. Well, that's pretty important.
It's
too.
pretty big.
Yeah, or I don't know, like maybe there's actually aliens like coming from a fucking distant galaxy or already living in our oceans. They're not aliens at all, and we're just not actually the apex predator we thought we were. That's also pretty fucking big deal. If it's just one of these things, like the world changes tomorrow.
Yes.
And that's so that
do you think people will give a shit then?
I think there'll be.
I hope so.
I don't know.
Hold your thought to what you were going to think, just in case you lose the train of thought. And I'll ask you this: so let's say one of those fucking egg objects lands on the White House lawn,
right?
And a fucking really weird creature gets out. Yeah,
I even forgot about the eggs.
Yeah, and it's broadcasted everywhere. It's on every news channel. Mm-hmm. Your mum goes, Lee, do you see the little alien egg thing? Yeah, it was interesting, wasn't it? And then she goes back to a different conversation. Do you think that's how? Because that's how it might go with my mum.
I think it's. I still remember being in college when the first plane went into the first tower, and being sent out of the room we were in at college to go and get a TV so we could put the TV on in the lecture room. And it was one of those wild things where everybody left to go to like the TV room where we kept the small TVs and stuff to be on like the wheelie trolley thing.
Yeah, but you didn't really have the internet then. You didn't really have fucking everything that's being shoved down everybody's neck all at once.
No,
there wasn't so many distractions that people would just like.
There wouldn't have been distractions in that situation, Ollie, because if we'd have had the internet and social media when the Twin Towers happened, that would have still been the story. It would have just been the story on more platforms. There'd have just been more of the one thing. See, that's the. I think that's the difference between something that happens, and I'm not saying that in some way 9/11 wasn't a psyop, but there's a difference between a psyop and there's a difference between like a false flag that like wasn't real, or doesn't happen. Like 9/11, for instance, we can
thousands died,
but we can debate. Like, well, COVID's a fucking perfect example of this. COVID was a fucking psyop that didn't actually happen, not in the way it was fucking presented to us, and that fell apart because of that. The difference between COVID and 9/11 is that there is enough threads that people can fucking then go fucking buck wild on it. Like, was it fucking directed energy weapons? Was it just like planes that these guys happened to fly into buildings that had been arranged in some fucking cave somewhere? Was it planes, but not actually passenger planes with fucking missiles on them. You know, was it a missile that hit the Pentagon and not a plane? You can elaborate on top of these stories, but fundamentally, there is enough poles in the ground to make us go, right, something happened in New York that day, something happened at the Pentagon, and something happened in that field, you know, where something was brought down and it didn't actually get where it was supposed to go. Like talk is, it was supposed to go to the White House. You know, there's enough there where we can come to at least even if it's not a unique point of truth, it's a unique point of agreement that something happened there. I think when it comes to if there was aliens landed on the White House lawn, like egg type of situation, there would be enough individual points of reference from different people and different eyewitnesses and different things to where we could debate whether it was fucking holograms. We could debate whether it was aliens. We could debate whether it was fucking the Chinese Communist Party, like trying to fucking fuck us up by installing a new religion. Like those things would naturally come out because that's what happens with conspiracy theory. That's what always happens. It's what happened with the Kennedy assassination. It's what happened with the moon landing.
Going back to what you've just shown with Ross Coulthard, so he's essentially saying that there is places, not necessarily just the Montauk place, but there is places where people are making contact with something.
Well, I mean that's debatable. Like
but just hold that thought a second. So essentially, what they could be doing, it could be for nefarious reasons. It could be for a good reason. It could be like something's coming and we need these special people to help us find out what it wants.
The eyewitnesses from Montauk never really said that there was things purported to psi abilities, but I can't remember the name. I know Al Balak crowbarred himself into it. There was another guy called Preston something, I believe. And then there was another dude, and his name escapes me. And I was trying to remember his name before so I could have pulled a clip up of him talking about it. He is I would say the best interview with someone that was supposedly part of the Montauk Project. Again, widely discredited. But what do you do in a situation like this? But the story goes that the Montauk Project was shut down because one of the kids lost control.
Like 11?
No, not like 11. One of the kids lost control when it was in this trance-like state, but it's always put across that it conjured a entity from the child's own mind. So it was like it created the entity from its subconscious, not that they were.
So if you imagine a creature,
Stay Puft Marshmallow Man syndrome.
I was just about to say, if you think of Jane Garuva will come and get you. If you think, what did you do, Ray?
So, but I lean to you. I lean to like what you're saying, where they're using these people with which naturally have higher levels of psi abilities to make contact with like the other realm type thing. You know, it's if you take people out, right? We know what happens when you take people, and I especially know what happens when you take a person and you give them a reasonable dose of psychedelics and they happen to be particularly sensitive to psychedelic substances. Like it fucking launches you into space and you were there for a while. Like that takes a while to stop. So now let's fucking take that a step further. What happens when you fucking take people which aren't just like a bit chemically sensitive to like psilocybin or to hallucinogens? You take someone that's sensitive and fucking spiritually sensitive, fucking size sensitive, whatever, however we want to fucking break this down. Like, you fucking fill them full, like heroic doses full, and you throw them in a fucking isolation tank. Like, what happens then? How far can they go? Because I tell you what, I bet they can go further than you or I. And then, because like I said, I'm more in the camp of they are probably using these people to make contact, and more tangible contact with entities in what we look at and think of as like the DMT space, which I believe is like fully connected with with the afterlife. I think.
Me too. Yeah. Can you imagine if all the things, the little creep, the things that go bump in the night, the things that people have reported on, that motherfucker's not real on the plane and all that jazz.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if these things were all things that have come from some child's head and they've just escaped?
Oh, no. See, like that was one of the things they tried to put forward in the Montauk project, that they were these children created some of these monsters that we're seeing. I don't believe that. I think these monsters are, or entities, however we want to look at them. I think there's things lurking in the shadows. I think there's a, I've referred to it before, haven't I? About I think naturally as human beings we have a spiritual, like, antivirus.
Yeah.
Like, we've spoke about this before with drink and drugs. I think drink and drugs break down your spiritual antivirus and leave you open to attack from all sorts of things. But the idea it makes so much more sense if there is a hidden realm past like our physical realm. It makes so much more sense to try and explore that than even if space is exactly how we're told it is. Yeah? Like, why would you put so much resources and money, which we don't do really? Joe, is like, when you look at what we do with space exploration, we haven't fucking done anything really since we went on the moon. The technology to do the things we've been doing has got slightly better. We've sent probes. We've thrown a few probes out. Okay. Spoiler, I don't actually think we have. But it would make so much more logical sense that instead of using solid fuel rockets, millions of tons of fucking natural resources to fire people just outside, like the fucking firmament, whatever we want to say it is.
There you go again. Always says it's me, it's you.
Yeah, I'm doing it for you. Ollie gives me a list of keywords I've got to fit in during the podcast. But it would make so much more sense if you could do that with fucking DMT and a fucking few particularly bright children. That is an easier system to get running than saying. See, and then the thing with this is one of those things where rabbit holes can go on, because I mean, this clearly didn't stop. If they got results, clearly didn't stop.
When you get results with something, you don't stop.
No, you rename it. And this is the thing I think has probably happened to it. I think it's probably the reason we know about Montauk and the reason we know about MK Ultra and stuff like that is because they were government programs. When MK Ultra was fucking discovered, I think a few people went, "Whoa, we could be in trouble here," and all these fucking wild programs were all farmed off to separate companies. You know, the likes of Raytheon.
Maybe that's why a lot, like, so many fucking children go missing. Maybe some of it's not. Maybe some of it is not just for heinous fucking sex work or whatever. It's some of it is. Ollie,
maybe they don't last long. Maybe when you've got to burn through people, burn through is so much. I mean, and I don't just mean like maybe they don't die. Maybe they just burn out. Like, can you imagine
spontaneous
spontaneous confunction? Yeah, like I know a guy over here, sound man, like fucking like most sound men. He's like 100 years old, stick thin, long grey hair, deaf. And it's always one of those things. If you had a
sound man, but he's
most
deaf.
Most of them are deaf. It's awful. Like the good ones aren't deaf. The old ones are all deaf. And like you get stuck with one of those, and you go, "Oh my god, this is going to be a fucking terrible gig." And he took a load of acid in the 60s, and he's now nicknamed Dave the Tree because he spent 2 days stood barefoot in a pot because he was trying to grow. It's not even a joke. Like, not I haven't embellished that like a word of that as how that story was told to me. But so you times that by fucking million. You stick, like, I'm just saying flotation tanks because it's what I can think of as what would be used. There might be completely other things that can be used to enhance these like situations. You fucking strap some fucking unknowing 11-year-old into a dark tank and start pumping them full of the most potent fucking acid and fucking DMT substitutes that we can possibly fucking refine and filter, and you leave the motherfuckers in there for fucking 2 days. What do you think you're getting out of it after that?
They've created a planet.
They've fucking don't know what they've created, but I tell you what, you want to hope you get whatever you want to get out of them during that process, because you're not going to get a lot out of them afterwards. And it's not like you can then just send a fucking child that you fucking barbecued with hallucinogens off out into the world. Like, go be fucking free. Here's a Labrador. Bad fucking moves.
That's probably what's going on.
I think
so many go missing.
I think there is a
mixture
of things, in the same way as, like, yeah, we refine oil, like, to turn into petroleum, but on the back of that, like, we'll also get like Vaseline and stuff like that. You know, like there are byproducts of the products we make. So I think there probably is a in the grimmest possible sense. I promise I'm not making light of this. If there is a conveyor belt somewhere for these children that are going missing in all countries, then I'm sure some people are fucking some of them. I'm sure some people are organ harvesting for some people. I think adrenochrome is 100% a drug. Whatever that drug does, whether it is some sort of wildly potent hallucinogen, it could be that they're using in the fucking tests, in place of like a DMT or an acid or something like that. Or it could just be a party drug. It could just be this weirdly weird fucking high. I bet there's a single purpose. I don't know what the single purpose is. The single purpose probably is to look for adept humans, like psi-adept humans, and then from that point there on, there is like a chain of fucking things that come afterwards that are byproducts of this one outing.
It's a wild thought, but it's pretty. I mean, it's going on. Let's face it, it's going on.
Something's going on. I think that's
too many fucking children go missing from just to be
not just the children side of it. I think this is what
humans in general.
I think this is what is the most interesting thing about doing a show like this, and I think it's why we do it, and it's why people listen to it, and it's why people like from various spectrums. There's some people that listen to our podcast are as crazy as us. Some people that listen to our podcast are not crazy at all. They just like things like this, and they find it a bit interesting. But I think one nuts. Thing, what
we are nuts.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. But the thing is, just because you're crazy doesn't mean you're wrong. But the thing I think is something is going on. Like we might not hit 180s every time we throw darts at the dartboard, but the darts are still hitting the board. There's a board there, and I think that's the main takeaway from a podcast like this is when we look at what's going on, we look at the decisions that are being made. There is something out there, and that's weird. There's weird decisions going on. We live in a fucking strange place. We don't live like normal. Normal is a fucking myth.
I don't think there is any such thing as normal anymore.
No.
I think we are entering the fucking paranormal era.
I think you're probably right. I do. I think we're definitely in the age of conspiracy.
Oh yeah,
like conspiracy theory.
But the next theory. Level to that is the paranormal era. I think. I think conspiracy, I think conspiracy is just going to be fucking news.
Yeah.
In fact, we may need to change the name of the podcast to the Daily Conspiracy News.
Maybe soon. Maybe one day. But like I said, it's all good. It's entertaining. It's scary though at the same time. Much like what you do when you get in the shower. You're excited, you're intrepid, but it's a bit dangerous. Rubbing chilies into your hands.
Try it.
No, I won't. But what you can try, if you listen to this podcast, is going to leave us a 5-star review. Please leave us that love. I know I said at the beginning of the podcast, saying it again, but it means the fucking world. If you've got to the end of this episode and you've gone, I love these guys, but motherfucker, these adverts that I put into these episodes, I hate them, then just sign up to the Patreon, $5.99 a month. All of that goes away. It all just...
And you get video.
The adverts melt away like they were a bad dream. Just like you go adverts, that's something that poor people get. I don't get adverts. I'm special. And then that means that you can listen to us and we can talk back to you on the live show on Saturday, which will be 8 o'clock UK time. I will find out tomorrow for you what the breakdown of US times are, but let's be perfectly honest, there's a lot of fucking time zones, and I'm not going to find out all of the time zones for you. All you need to really do is I
think you're right, it might be 3 p.m.
I think it's 3 o'clock, but all you need to do is, it will be 8 o'clock, it will be 8 p.m. in the UK when we go live. So just ask your smart app, ask your AI, say, I live in Afghanistan. What time is 3 p.m. in the UK? Afghanistan time.
8 p.m. in the UK.
8 p.m. in the UK, Afghanistan time. See, this is why I don't want to mess around with other people's time zones. Don't even know my own.
You fucked time zones up quite often with guests and all sorts of shit.
Yeah, it's time travel. I'm not good at time travel.
We should do a show on time travel.
We should do a show on time travel.
We probably have, actually.
Yeah, we've definitely we've stuck we've probably done one this week actually at some point. We probably.
I mean, it will have been mentioned. But also, if you just want to keep listening as normal, you don't want to become a patron, that's absolutely fine. But if you would absolutely do us a favour, whatever platform you are listening us on, if you could go give us a 5-star review, it means the world. Because the more 5-star reviews we get, the bigger we get.
And then we can get people on, and we become undeniable. And it means that people have to come on our podcast. They probably won't want to come on our podcast because they, oh my God, they're the ones with the dick jokes. But when I go on their podcast, I sell like 50,000 books. That's where we need to be.
And those people will have to
grovel at our knees.
And they'll have to talk about dick and stuff like that. And, that'll be it. They'll need to do that to be on this show.
Yeah, they will need to submit to our dick to get what they want.
Yep, that's what my wife had to do.
On that note, Ollie, I think you've already took us out. Thanks very much, people. We will be back tomorrow. You are lovely. We are wonderful. Together, we made magic, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. And I'm sorry, wife.
He's not. He's not sorry at all.
No, I'm not.